Well, okay, welcome back to the channel. We're working on the cab now. As you've seen, we put this thing in primer. Well, now I have my DuraBlock. This block is a 30-inch block, and if any of you have ever blocked a car, you know it's best to get as much of that surface blocked as you can at one time. So that's what we're working on today. Now the top of this truck was in pretty good condition. It only had a place right here that wasn't really bad. It was just a factory buckle, but still, I'm a perfectionist, so I had to fix that. But that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be working on it by blocking this thing down. So let's get into it. Okay, now top's done. I've got to get this sides done right here. I'm going to get the back and then start on the sides. This back is a panel from here to about 5 inches down, depending on the model and step side. This model is particularly about 2 inches is shown. They'll make sure that's going to be straight, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Whew. Okay, now for you, that was just a couple seconds blocking this rear panel. But in my timer, it took me 8 minutes and 50 seconds. So basically 9 minutes just on this panel. So you can kind of see from the video standpoint how I speed things up, exactly how long it took to do this portion, and kind of weigh that in on how long it takes to do the entire cab. The entire cab, to block one of these and fix the little imperfections I may see, an entire cab, you're probably looking at least 4 hours block time, checking it, making sure everything's right. And of course, for y'all, I speed it up. But I'm gonna go ahead and continue blocking. This is just gonna be a quick tip for all you who are doing body work on your truck, car, SUV, whatever it may be. Well, right here we have a door to an 88 to 98 Chevrolet Silverado, GMC Sierra, Blazer. They're all the same doors. Well, what I'm going to be doing before I ever start sanding on this door, I wipe it down to where I have a little bit of shine, what's in the door already, and I have a marker. So what I do, I get down eye level with the door, and I simply look down the door. And if I see any imperfections, I take my marker, just like this for instance. I've signaled I have a bad place there, and I have a bad place here, and 2 dots there, to symbolize I know exactly where my damage is. Now you can always take photos of that. That way you have a log exactly where they are before you start sanding. But I know exactly where the damage is, and I know exactly where I'm going to have to repair it. I've got the doors here. If you've seen in a little quick tip, I showed you exactly how you use your marker, clean your door up, and mark exactly where your damage is before you start to sand. So it's a little bit of a reference point on where you need to do that repair. But I've got the doors in here on the stand. I've got to go get another stand to put the door on. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get the door sanded completely down, inside and out. That way I know the surface is completely ready for me to do any kind of repair to it, primering, or even if I find the area to be sandblasted, or if you have rust, cut out and replaced. But I'm going to go ahead and get in here, sand these doors down, and then start doing some repair to put these things in primer. Right now, y'all saw that big damaged area in the front. I ground that down with a 40 grit grinding sand flap disc. I've applied more body filler to that and to some areas. I'm using a DuraBlock with some 80 grit sandpaper on that, and I'm sanding it down. My paint booth fan is on, so I have plenty of ventilation. If not, you definitely need to be wearing a mask. But using my block sanding all this body filler down, and then we'll put a real nice thick coat primer on there so we can block it down with some 180, 320, and then some 600 water grip sandpaper. Okay, we've done our body repair here. I've wiped off all the surfaces, the door's sanded. Now I'm just gonna put a heavy coat of primer down on here and it keep leveling up so we can be able to have a good base to block this out. Okay, now I've got one good coat. This is a quart of primer that I have on this door right here. Once this right here dries and starts getting tacky and a little bit sticky, I'll put another coat here on this door. That way it's built up really heavy and I can block sand all this door out real straight so that I can make sure before I put the paint down, it's going to be a real good quality and a real straight door. Now that I've primered the outside and I blocked the outside of the door, it's time to address the inside door jamb. Now, as you can tell, all of this is to the metal. Now, I used a sandblaster and sandblasted all my inner jambs to the metal. Now, one good reason to do that is along the bottom of these trucks. A lot of times you'll have rust in the doors. Well, this one has no rust at all. It's very solid, and that gives it added protection down the road, making sure there's no rust in that door before I lay down my sealer and lay down my paint. But I'm going to go ahead and finish working on this door, get ready to shoot some sealer on this inner jamb, but we have something a little bit special for the paint on this cab and these doors. I want to make sure I get the doors ready to paint at the same time I get the cab ready. We're going to be putting down the original white base that the truck come factory. Then for our mid coat, we're going to be using a House of Color bright silver reflective white pearl. And it's got a little white and silver mixed in, and it's going to add a little bit more pizzazz when you really get up close to this thing and look at it real good. As you can tell from our frame video, you saw how nice it turned out with that gunmetal gray and a little bit of added pearl with a clear coat. So it's going to be nothing less more on the paint job of the truck. We want to make sure from top to bottom, this right here is going to be winning shows no matter where it goes. Okay, now what you see here, this is white sealer. This is just a process that I've done just to ensure that no rust comes through after sandblasting into the metal. Now once I get the outer side finished prime and more blocking done, then I flip it over, scuff this back up, and then shoot both sides at the same time so that I don't have a tape line. But that's going to be it for this part of the segment. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button right down there, notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.